Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us at the virtual USAfrica Business Expo, hosted as a side event to the 75th UN General Assembly. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate all of you. We're going to get started right away. Thank you so much. If you haven't done that, please make sure your profile is updated. It would help you to network properly. People can see you. They can know who you are, and that would enable them to want to engage with you further. So on that note, I'm going to get started. Thank you for joining us one more time. I truly appreciate all of you taking the time to join us at this event this morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Benga Motaya, and I'm the Executive Director at the USAfrica Business Expo and the Hub. I'm also the founder of Paysetters Agency. It's a New York City and State MWBE certified business. What I personally do, I help businesses launch and expand globally, leveraging digital tools and matchmaking events. I also help businesses to navigate entry into the US and African market. My specialties include international trade events and digital marketing. I'm the author of How to Start Your Home Business While Employed. So you're in good hands, and it's going to be an awesome experience today. So that's just me on the screen, a little bit about me, which I had already told you. I'm just going to move my slide. So I'm just going to read a little bit about the organization. But, for the first time ever, the world's most important event, which is the USAfrica, the UN General Assembly, is largely going virtual. Everyone is hosting event on the internet this year. This year format may be different, but this expo is still here to help businesses navigate and expand into international market. We all know what we went through from March of this year, but thank God we're all here. We're all on the other side. So we have every reason to be grateful. Ideally, this would have been an in-person event, 2 days event, but we are grateful for technology. We're still able to host over 400 people all across the world coming together. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our organization. We are in New York. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping small and medium enterprises in Africa and minority women-owned businesses to expand into global market with emphasis on the US and Africa corridor. We do this by connecting them to new buyers and suppliers, leveraging digital technologies and event platform such as the online matchmaking and trade hub, and through this expo, which we host every year. And talking about this expo, it's a B2B trade show, conference and networking event that happens during the UN General Assembly. Enabling platform for connecting US and African businesses with new buyers and suppliers, an investment opportunity. It brings the opportunity in Africa and the US together, enabling any business to find the people, the funding, and the market it needs to be successful. For over 6 years, we have been hosting multiple events at the UN towards, connecting organizations and businesses with new buyers, with new suppliers and investment opportunities. And many of the connections that were made on our platform has led to long-term relationships and strategic partnership. So we do this event with all joy and gladness as a diaspora, as a way of contributing to our continent. So that's just who we are. One of the things that is and produce the expo, we offer market access and consultation and training programs. We offer monthly virtual webinars, which some of you have been in the past. We provide local representation so you're looking for partners, you're looking for those you can trust, you're looking for business, offer you those services. And our bespoke service is matchmaking. So we set you up with potential buyers or seller anywhere, US and Africa. We organize the meeting and we coordinate everything. We do background on them. We do due diligence on them to make sure they are the people you should be doing business with. And so before I proceed, I'd like to talk about the schedule for today. Of course, I'm giving my opening remark now. Now, after this opening remark, we will take our first session, which is going to be on expanding global opportunities for minority women and business enterprises and small and minority businesses. So it's going to be expanding global opportunities for MWBEs and SME during COVID. That will run between now to 12 noon Eastern time. So each of our presenters will take 15 minutes to speak, after which there will be a Q&A. So during that Q&A, if you have any questions on funding, on connecting, how do you get buyers in the US? How do you get partners in Africa? How do you get funding for your business? How do you get loans for your export business? All of those questions will be taken care during this session. Afterwards, there's going to be a pitch matchmaking. We're going to do matchmaking for 30 minutes, so we hope that you will be able to do that between 11 and 11:30. That will be on my left. On my left, you should see like reception, the stage, sessions, networking. So that will take place in the networking area. All you have to do is go to the networking area, allow the system to use your camera and your audio, and you can network and get matchmaked with people on this platform. After that, we would have a second session, which is going to be between 11:30 and 12 noon on cost savings innovations for industrial fluid transfer pumps. So there's an organization coming to share with us some innovative technologies that would truly help the continent of Africa. One of the problems the continent is currently dealing with is using substandard equipment across board, and not to pull down on China. People go there, they buy products that are not truly like good enough, and when things go down, they lose money, they lose time in trying to fix those problems. So we're bringing this organization, and they'll be sharing with us on these innovative technologies. Then we're going to go for an exhibition for 30 minutes between 12 and 12:30 p.m. We're going to have an exhibition. We have our exhibitors all here with products and services that are geared to helping you grow your business, connect with the continent, expand your reach, and and be able to do so many other things. So you'll be able to do that between 12 and 12:30 p.m. All you have to do is go click on the expo link, and you will see all the exhibitors. After that, we're going to take the final session, which is going to be on economic opportunities in Africa, engaging with the African diaspora for trade. This is going to bring 4 professionals onto the table. They would each share their expertise on the continent of Africa and the things that they've done, the challenges they've seen, and how we as a diaspora, we can leverage the power we have, and help the continent of Africa while also prospering the country of the United States where we currently reside. So that's basically how this would go. And so I'd like to thank our partners for the first session, the U.S. Commercial Services and the Export-Import Bank of the United States, for coming on board to share this knowledge with our audience today. And so without wasting much of your time, I'm going to quickly go in and do an introduction of our presenter for the first session. But remember, if you have any question or concerns, please drop a note in the chat box and feel free to introduce yourself so that we can know who is in the room. So that's about it. Now, before I do this introduction, why is the diaspora very important? The diaspora have the skills, they have the ingenuity, and they have the resources that the continent needs. The diasporans are uniquely positioned to contribute to boosting the economic growth and prosperity in Africa. The diasporans can bring their talent, their energy, their skills, and their technological know-how to furthering economic progress in Africa. In fact, CNN said the diaspora is Africa's secret weapon. So Africa has that weapon that needs to be deployed to help the continent. And many Africans in the diaspora and many black Americans in the diaspora wants to eventually go back to Africa, maybe to settle in, to work and to live. So the challenges is finding suitable platform to doing that. So one of the things that we do is to help the diaspora to reconnect back, with the continent. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our first speaker for this session. I'm going to be speaking about Latonya. She has worked closely with exporters. She's worked closely with exporters. So that's Latonya on the screen. She's worked closely with exporters who applied for the Working Capital Guarantee Program as well as Export Credit Insurance. She's a valuable asset and has the passion for guiding exporters and lenders through the process, ensuring they understand and follow the policies and procedures of Exim Bank. In her current role, Latonya manages a portfolio of minority business organizations throughout the country. She's responsible for building awareness about Exim Bank products and services to small businesses, emphasis on small businesses, particularly those that are minority and or women owned. So this is why this is very important. We're not just bringing the export-import bank, we're bringing in the minority group, those that are saddled with helping minority businesses to begin to export. So this is really great. So Latonya is going to be speaking shortly. The portfolio activity of organization that Latonya manages has grown tremendously due to her diligence in educating the organizations and businesses that she serves. She's responsible for assisting businesses export around the world with a focus on export to Africa. That brought a smile to my face. With a focus on export to Africa. Latonya holds a BA in Administration of Justice from the University of Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to invite Latonya to please come on stage for our presentation. Thank you, Latonya. Latonya?
Thank you, Benga, for that that gracious introduction. I am very happy to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this event. And I'm just excited about the discussion that we're going to have this morning about the resources available for small businesses to export. So I am going to start my presentation now. Bear with me. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, it's very small for me. Hold on.
Your slide is up, yes. Can you hear me, Latonya?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, yes. So your slide is up, so you get.
Okay.
You can.
Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, just to give you some background about Exim Bank. We are an independent agency of the federal government. We were established over 80 years ago. Our headquarters is in Washington, D.C., which is where I am located. The Minority and Women-Owned Business Team is located in D.C. And we have regional offices located in every quadrant of the country. And our mission is to maintain and create jobs by supporting the growth of U.S. exports. Now, our financing makes the difference because we are the official export credit agency for the United States. Our financing plays a critical role in exporters winning or losing a sale or a contract. Over 150 countries have an ECA that provides financing to exporters in those respective countries. Well, that is what XM provides for U.S. exporters. Our financing minimizes the risk for exporters as well as lenders. It levels the playing field with other ECAs around the world so U.S. exporters can remain competitive. And then our financing also supplements financing with the commercial lenders. XM assumes risk that lenders aren't willing to. And I'll explain that in more detail later in the presentation. Now, here are some statistics from fiscal year 2019, and I'd like to guide you to, in particular, bullets 3 and 4. In fiscal year 2019, our small business authorizations totaled $2.3 billion, and that is over 85% of the bank's total portfolio. The majority of the bank's portfolio consists of small business transactions. And I know that's typically not what you hear because the media tends to focus on the large dollar transactions, but it is actually the many thousands of small businesses that actually keep the wheels of the country turning and to keep the commerce going. And last year also, we provided over $440 million for minority and women-owned businesses. Now, through our outreach efforts such as this, we intend to increase those numbers, and I'm sure that we will do that just by this event today. Now, this slide is equivalent to, say, if I am in a room or in a class with 10 tables, and I only interact with those or the tables, say, to my right or in the front of the room. I'm ignoring the rest of the room. This slide reminds me of that example. You actually are hindering your business growth when you don't consider exporting, because 95% of consumers are outside of the United States. So you're really doing your business a disservice by not exporting. And here in the US, only 1% of companies export. It may be 2 by now. This slide may be a little dated, but that's still a very low number. And the reason that number is so low because of the fear or the risk associated with doing business internationally. I will explain how XM Products removes the fear associated with those risks of doing business abroad. Now, here are some challenges with solutions that an exporter may have. If you need funds to fulfill orders or purchase finished product that you may be exporting, our working capital loan guarantee is the solution. If you want to protect yourself from buyer non-payment, or you want to extend credit to a foreign buyer, or you need access to capital while you're waiting to be paid, our receivables insurance, which is also known as our export credit insurance, is the solution. And then if you have a large transaction, you have a project, say, on the continent where you're building houses, or you are providing electricity and the buyer needs financing, that's where our medium and long-term insurance and loan guarantees are the solution for that example. Now, our working capital guarantee. This is a guarantee that XM Bank provides a lender. It is not a direct loan to an exporter, so you would need to contact or reach out to one of the lenders on our delegated authority lender list, which is on our website. The loan is actually coming from the lender. Again, we provide that lender a 90% guarantee on the amount of the loan to the exporter. The loans are revolving or transaction specific with terms of 1 to 3 years and are renewable. There is no minimum or maximum amount. And the qualifications to apply for this program is you have been in business for at least a year, selling a product, have a positive net worth, and have a purchase order or a contract. So those three qualifications or requirements are just what XM Bank looks for. You would still need to meet the qualifications of the lender. While I'm here, I also would like to talk about indirect exports. Companies that produce goods and services to companies here in the US, and that company is subsequently or eventually exporting that product, you are eligible to apply for the working capital loan. So I often advise businesses, if you are supplying a company here in the United States, ask, are they eventually are they exporting your product? You know, is it ending up on shelves here in the United States or on shelves abroad in another country? Now, export credit insurance is what XM Bank is most known for. Again, we are the official export credit agency of the United States. So we have the products and the tools to allow our businesses or our exporters here to be competitive. It's also referred as trade credit insurance. It benefits the buyer as well as the exporter. And in that, I mean, as a buyer, if you have an opportunity to hold on to your capital and receive the product, and as the exporter, you're offering terms to that buyer with the assurance of knowing that you're getting paid, you're going to get paid according to the terms you and the buyer have agreed to, whether that be 30, 60, or 90 days, that's a benefit to all involved. Also, too, I'll give you another example. Say a buyer in Jamaica wants to purchase your product. He is also a company in China has the same product as you, but he is offering that Jamaican buyer credit terms. To the buyer, the Chinese exporter, it appears to be more beneficial to him because he has the opportunity to hold on to his cash because of the credit terms that the Chinese exporter is offering. Now, granted, he really wants to purchase from you because you have made in USA product. But again, offering the credit terms, that is often the deal breaker for US businesses. So there are 3 benefits to the export credit insurance product. It protects you against buyer non-payment due to commercial or political risk. Some examples of these risks are, say, if the buyer loses their import license, or if war breaks out in a country, or there's fraud on the part of the buyer, you would be protected if those examples or if those concerns or those challenges occur. Again, it offers you to expand and go into new markets because you are offering open account credit terms. It eliminates the need for buyers to pay in advance. And it also boosts your borrowing base because with the insurance policy, it can be assigned to a lender who will advance you a certain percentage of your invoice. Now, it will not be the entire invoice, but if the lender knows that those receivables are covered or guaranteed by XM Bank, they are more willing to advance you, say, 60, maybe 70% of your invoice amount to give you the capital that you need, because you may not be able to wait the 30, 60, or 90 days to get paid from the buyer. So that is another benefit as well. Now, here are some industries that XM Bank provides support for, and there are divisions at the bank dedicated to process transactions in these industries. For instance, our transportation division processes aircraft and avionics transactions. Our project finance division processes renewable energy and power generation transactions. And services transactions are reviewed on a case-by-case basis. And what we're finding when we are doing these outreach events, our efforts are showing that businesses may not have a tangible product, but they provide a service. And all services can be considered for XM Bank support. It could be IT, consulting services, education, legal services. The full gamut of services are considered. So don't be discouraged or think that you cannot get support from XM Bank because you provide a service and you don't have a tangible product. Now, here are a few of our policy restrictions. I'll just go over a couple of them. XM does not finance sales to another country's military, except in humanitarian efforts. We do have a U.S. content requirement. For short-term transactions, the U.S. content requirement must be 51%. And for medium-term transactions, it must be 85% of U.S. content. We also have a country limitation schedule. I advise businesses to review the schedule before they even consider, or when they're starting to think about exporting, they should visit the schedule. There you will see where XM Bank is open and for how long. Now, here are some additional resources that XM Bank utilizes to help us in our outreach efforts. Again, we are a very small agency, and it's challenging to reach the thousands of small businesses that we're mandated or required to reach. We rely on these resources here, and I'll briefly explain how we work together. We have insurance brokers who are trained by XM to assist in reporting shipments, applying for policy limit increases, and overall management of the trade credit insurance policy. Brokers are of no cost to exporters. And my colleague on the line, who you're going to hear after me, she is an official XM Bank insurance broker. So I encourage you to reach out to her when you are ready to acquire your policy. We also have our regional export promotion program members known as REP. These are organizations at the state and local level that assist with raising awareness about XM. Our REP organizations help develop your export business plan and an overall resource there in the community. They're our boots on the ground all over. So I often advise businesses or refer them to the REP organization that's closest to them. And we also have our delegated lenders. These are lenders that have an agreement with XM to finance export-related loans. As mentioned before, XM Bank guarantees those loans, so they are more willing to extend loans to exporters because they know that they have the guarantee from XM Bank. And then finally, we have our U.S. Export Assistance Centers known as USACs. I refer to these also as one-stop shops for small businesses or businesses in general looking to export, because in these centers you have Exim Bank, the U.S. Commercial Service, and the SBA. So you have all of your federal government resources in one location, which alleviates the need to have to go to, say, XM today, the SBA a couple of days later. They're all in one location for you, very convenient. And so that concludes what I have to say right now about the bank. I'm sure I'm looking forward to have networking and dialoguing with you throughout the day today, just to talk to you and go a little deeper about, you know, your business and what you're considering doing, so I can guide you to the resources that are available. And I look forward to seeing you later today. Thank you for allowing me to present to you this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Latonya. We appreciate you. That was an amazing presentation. I hope that our attendees this morning, they will take advantage of this amazing presentation and the information you brought. A lot of our audience are minority-owned businesses and women enterprises, and so we're hoping that they will take the advantage of what the Exim Bank has decided to do for small businesses and minority-owned businesses as well. Like you rightly said, immediately after this would be a networking session, so you would have the opportunity to meet with Latonya, and even after the second session, there would be an exhibition. So there'll be an opportunity for you to meet with Latonya. After we're done with this session, she will be inside our booth, so you can go and meet with her. So on that note, I'm going to be bringing on a second speaker this morning. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to be reading a little bit about Gwendolyn's profile. Oh, I can see Gwendolyn is already on the screen. Thank you so much. I can see you're highly excited about that. So yes, so that's Gwendolyn. So let me take off my slides so that, you know, you can get your slide loaded, and I'll just read your bio. Gwendolyn is an appointed insurance broker for Export and Import Bank of the United States, and she has adeptly leveraged her diversified knowledge and experience to providing excellent service for U.S. exporter and Africa-based foreign buyers. She works closely with the small minority business owners to the long list of high net worth and influential contact in procuring the right match of products and services for your transactions. As a principal broker and acquisition manager, she understands the priority to support clients throughout the process of navigating the foreign market to be competitive in the sales of their products and contracting their services to the foreign buyer. As a licensed insurance broker in multiple states such as New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, she offers an industry veteran superb client management skills, unparalleled marketing techniques in providing the proper trade and credit insurance for the U.S. exporter and foreign buyer. As a licensed insurance real estate broker in multiple states such as New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, she offers her skills in providing the proper trade credit insurance for you. Now, by offering unwavering guidance throughout the challenging realms of working with the right insurance coverage, lenders, general contractors, sourcing equipment, and suppliers. So no matter a client's budget, no matter the timeline or specific requirement, she's able to provide an experience that is as stress-free as possible from the beginning to end of the transaction. So at this time, I would like Gwendolyn to please take on and start our presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, Yankabinga. I'm glad to be here today, and good morning to everyone. We're here very early today, but my part of the program is designed for us to go over for our small and minority businesses the needs for having the trade and credit insurance. And as an insurance broker, I'm also a minority business owner and also a small business owner. And many times my clients don't realize the availability of the services that are for them in order to be able to expand their business. One of the things that I encourage much to my clients is the ability to use XM's products. XM's products and services are extremely helpful in helping you to expand your business, especially as a small business owner. XM allows you to be an exporter and to be able to provide facilities of credit and secure trade through insurance to the foreign buyers and as well as the exporter. I'm going to provide today a slide presentation of some of the XM's service as an insurance broker and how the insurance program assists you as a minority business owner and small business owner to be able to expand and have a successful transaction with foreign buyers. As you can see, I'm going to switch over to my slide presentation here, and it has one here that we start with XM as being one of the trade and credit insurance solutions for exporters. And you as a small business are known as an exporter. As an exporter, you have the ability to be able to handle many different types of transactions. You can have funds to fulfill your orders. This funds will allow you to have working capital. So this way you can be able to provide the service from your contract to your foreign buyer. You can also provide an extension of credit to your foreign buyer. Providing an extension of credit to your foreign buyer allows you to have access to capital, and it provides you with also risk protection with the insurance component of XM's products. By having this risk protection, you're able to also get accounts receivables insurance. And many of you know, as a small business, capital is always a need. By having the insurance program, you're able to provide getting access to capital against your accounts receivables until
I think something happened with Gwendolyn's presentation. I'd like to apologize for that. Um, Gwendolyn, can you just send me a message? Let me know if you're still on the platform. If anything happened, let me know. I will see if I can. Okay, I think she's back. We apologize for that.
there I am. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to
Would
put
you
this
like
back.
to share your slide for you while you talk, or you?
Oh,
Oh, okay. Oh,
I got it back. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to skip through a few of them to be back where we was positioned. Okay, so just give me a few seconds. All right, we were up to this slide here. Can you still see me? And can everyone hear me?
yes, we can hear you. You're loud and clear, and your slide
Okay,
is up as well.
okay, great. So basically we were up to the point that what is export credit insurance? It's insurance against non-payment of foreign accounts, receivables, but it's not a means to make bad credit good. That means we also have to make sure that your buyer, that they have a good credit reference and that they're a good payer. And it is not a primary source of repayment. So that means just because you have insurance, that doesn't mean that the buyer is not going to pay their invoice. And we don't use it just for that. Now, in regards to the insurance, what makes financing, our insurance with financing makes a difference. What it does is you, as the US exporter, will have a minimized risk for your transaction because the insurance is helping to protect the transaction. You're going to have a level playing field because you're able to offer credit to your foreign buyer because the insurance is helping to protect that. And then you're able to offer supplement commercial financing, which we mentioned under our medium and long-term program, which allows you to be able to have your foreign buyer have some sort of credit financing. There is, with export benefits, for the exporter, there's benefits with having insurance. Again, risk protection, protection against catastrophic losses of a company's and unprotected assets, competitive marketing. You can also compete against the world market in that you're able to offer credit terms. You're able to be paid once the transaction is completed. You can get your capital up front through accounts receivables. So therefore, if you need to be flexible in order to get that deal done, the insurance helps to protect you so you can, with confidence, provide these options to your foreign buyer. Now, the lenders in the EXIM network are very important because they work with the insurance to make sure that their capital is protected once they give you the working capital that you may need, or they are protecting the transaction until the foreign buyer pays. So in this case, the lender will always be given the assignment of the policy's proceeds because they're the one that's expending the capital on your behalf. And here is a portfolio of what the policy types are that we have under the insurance program. We have our multi-buyer policy, which allows you to have your portfolio of coverage of your many buyers, standard and small business as well. Then we have our express credit insurance, which is our simplified insurance program that allows you as a small business to get started faster and with less costs. And it allows you to put buyers in as you need them. And then we have the single buyer program, which allows you to have, if you have a big contract or you just have one specific buyer that you're working with, you can have the single buyer project as insurance program as well. But here's one key thing. As a small business, you're not just going to work with EXIM, you're going to also work with the Small Business Administration and some other government agencies involved with helping to make your business successful. We offer a premium discount on the EXIM insurance for those programs that you participate that include an SBA or working capital guarantee program involved. Again, we've went over this before. The protection that the short-term credit insurance provides is protection of commercial risks, political risks. We cover ranges from 95 to 100% of the invoice amount. We also, under short-term, you are always going to have your invoices paid less than 1 year. Typically, it's 180 days for consumable products, 360 days for bulk agriculture. Now, what makes you an exporter that's eligible in the U.S. exporting under EXIM's program? You must be operating for 3 years, but I think it's now at least a year. We must be an industry that we support. We also must have a financial picture or condition that shows that we are solvent, that we're positive in our cash flow. And prior export credit experience, in order to encourage it, we help you as a new exporter to get involved with the export transaction. And you must always have US content in your product. Under the short-term program, it's 50%. If you are having the longer-term programs, it's as high as 85%. All goods must be shipped from the US. And also, too, services. People don't realize that services are important. If you're an architect, contractor, engineer, IT, these are services that also can participate with the EXIM insurance program. We do not ship for medical defense articles unless under exception of humanitarian purposes. And we must always look to that the country is eligible in the EXIM network to do business. We do check the country's limitations under our country limitation schedule, and we look under both the private and public sector to see if it's supported by EXIM's programs. And finally, the policy assignment is typically assigned to the lender, because remember, the lender is expending and covering the transaction so that you can get paid from your foreign buyer. And in the event that you're not paid, that we can file the claim. The exporter, which is yourself, will put in a claim in the event that the buyer defaults. And then EXIM will pay the lender on your behalf. But remember, EXIM will then, of course, be looking to recoup the expense that was put out on your behalf. We have an online policy management so that you can see your policies. We can see your policies as brokers. The lender can see your policy as well. And then you can also report your export shipment and then pay your premium. You do not have to pay your premium until you are shipping your product overseas. And then we handle claims. Claims is handled in the EXIM's insurance division. You report any shipments that you made with the correct buyer, and the premium is paid then. You also provide documentation of the purchase order invoice and any evidence of collection efforts. Again, if something happens that the buyer does not pay, then you will be needing to file a claim. And this is where we have the claims filing window. And you have 3 to 8 months after the due date of the payment for the claim to be filed if they did not pay the invoice. And finally, as I, at the end of the presentation, I try to put the slides here to help the U.S. exporter to understand some of the things that are needed for the export insurance. EXIM provides the facility for products that are going overseas. My background also includes working with my clients that are not doing the EXIM program. And we also provide accounts receivable financing. We also assist with getting financing through private equity. So what we do is we utilize more than one service to help our small businesses, minority-owned businesses, and businesses of many sizes to be able to be successful in their business transactions. Okay, and I'm leaving here, which has my information to contact me. It also has my website, and we also have a jot form that was designed just for EXIM to help you along with being able to provide information that's needed so that we can help you get your trade and credit insurance as well. And we will have a question and answer session briefly after this. And I will also be at the booth under my company, GCF Ventures, so that we can be able to facilitate and help any of you who are interested in more information for EXIM trade and credit insurance as well. And I think I'm on schedule. Did I do pretty good?
You are truly on schedule. Thank you so much, Gwendolyn, for that amazing presentation. Like you rightly said, she'll be in our booth, so you can reach out to her. And one thing that I connect with Gwendolyn about is the fact that she understands the process. A lot of people are overwhelmed with getting started. So one of the connections we have is we help you to get started. Even if you don't have a business, we help you to get started. We get you to a point where you're comfortable to go into EXIM and say, now I want to export. And Gwendolyn, because of her background with small businesses and because she's a minority-owned business owner herself, she has that understanding. And together we help you get started and take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you so much for coming, Gwendolyn. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be bringing on my last presenter for this session. I'm going to quickly read his biography just so we know who we are talking about. Now, throughout his 30-year career with the Department of Commerce, Kenneth Ains has facilitated numerous international business deals for small to medium-sized U.S. companies by introducing them to the services provided by the International Trade Administration, which is a segment of the U.S. Department of Commerce. With direct access to U.S. embassies across the globe, Kenneth's day-to-day activities include providing top-notch international business solutions as well as advocating for the interests of U.S. business abroad. Kenneth has received numerous awards and letters of commendations from the U.S. State Secretary of Commerce, from the U.S. members of Congress, as well as the U.S. Director General of the International Trade Administration for his tireless and continuous support of American business interests globally. Kenneth is a former Foundation Board member with the Arlington Chamber of Commerce, a Leadership Arlington graduate, a member of Who is Who of International Trade Professionals, served as National Team Leader for the U.S. Department of Commerce Global Diversity Initiative, as well as a certified global business professional. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the gentleman who is going to be making a presentation on behalf of the U.S. Commercial Service, and it's a pleasure to have you join us this morning. Kenneth, please, you can proceed with your presentation. I'll take off my slide so you'll be able to, so I can share your slide.
Okay, thank you, Bingo. Appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Fantastic. And should I, and I'm sorry, just for the technical difficulties, let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. Should I go ahead and share the screen?
No, you can actually proceed with your presentation while I will go ahead with the other part of it. So you can just go ahead and start your presentation.
You'll move the slide? Okay, fantastic. Thank you so very much. And thank you everyone for attending this this fantastic event. I'm so very honored to be able to share with you this morning, as well as share the stage with such esteemed panelists as Latanya and Gwendolyn. They've done a great job in regards to explain. I with their Kelly Kemp here in Texas. And, you have utilized the XM Bank program. I definitely recommend that you reach out, young lady, let them assist you with exploring XM Bank and what they have to offer. As we this part of the presentation, normally I would ask the audience, a little bit difficult to do virtually, people heard of the U.S. Department of Commerce and the U.S. Commercial Service. Generally, that response gets a very low rating, unfortunately. A lot of people out there that organization or even know the U.S. Commercial Service, which is under of the Department of Commerce, is an organization that, if you can believe this, is a federal government agency. We specialize in assisting U.S. with exporting and making money. And yes, you heard that correctly. A federal government agency is money. And we do that in a number of different ways. And I'll get into the now. I'll try not to read the slides to you. I'll go as we can, so that way we'll have some extra time for Q&A. The first slide indicates that exporting growth and development to U.S. companies, which is very true. 98% of U.S. exporters are small to medium-sized companies. And as earlier slides indicated, panelists, 95% of the world's consumers live outside of the United States. The U.S. currently exports to roughly 20 plus companies, and U.S. good and service exports equaled about in 2017. That was in 2017. Yet the U.S. goods and services trade deficit about 566 billion. Next slide. You can see on demand exists for exports. Companies that export grow faster, have higher wages, are more likely to stay in business, and are more overall. 95% again of the world's consumers in the U.S. And I'll give some context around sub-Saharan Africa. The U.S. exported 15.9 billion to the region. Exports included transportation equipment, machinery, chemicals, and products. With 13% of our GDP generated by exports, and that being our GDP being the U.S. economy, exports of goods and services. The United States, as you can see there on the 13% of our GDP is generated by exports, and you can see other nations indicated there in regards to the amount of exports impacts their. Next slide, please. We can go to the next slide. Bingo, are you there?
You hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I'm having some difficulties here. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you see your slide? Hello? Kenneth?
Okay. Let's see. Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Yes, Kenneth, can you hear me? Can you see your slide?
Bingo.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you fine. I can see the slide. Thank you.
Yes, that's fine. We're back. Yes, your slide is up. You can proceed.
Sorry, we lost a little connectivity there. I think we're back. Okay, thank you. And so the current slide that you're seeing is the U.S. Commercial Service works to fill that space. The purpose of that slide is to indicate that we have a lot of room to grow. The previous slide indicated that with only 13% of GDP, we have space and room to grow our exports, and that's part of our role as the U.S. Commercial Service. Our goal is to assist as many U.S. companies as we possibly can with exporting their products and services. So now we get into the how. How do we do that? And this slide is talking about the Dallas Fort Worth area, because this is the area that I'm located in. So, but I can address later on these numbers from a more global perspective. If you go back 2 slides, Bingo, please.
Which of the slides? Sorry.
Can you go back 2 slides, please? Can you go back to, just go back 2 slides back? Keep going, please. One more. Okay, perfect. Thank you. This slide here indicates, again, as I was referencing, this is in the just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Dallas-Fort Worth, the state of, or I should say the area, that being Dallas, Arlington, and Fort Worth, which we refer to as the Metroplex. And these numbers are just slightly dated, but it's 2017. Dallas-Fort Worth area exported about 36.3 billion. Servicing roughly 8,600 companies. And out of that 8,600, 88% of those were small to medium-sized enterprises. Okay. Next slide, Bingo. And so in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, our major export markets, as you can imagine, being our neighbors to the south and our neighbor to the north, that being Mexico and Canada, are our 2 major exporting partners, along with Germany, China, and Japan. And you can see there also the breakdown in terms of 2018 numbers and billions of dollars, the amount of money that is being exported, or goods and services, I should say, being exported to Mexico, Canada, Germany, China, and Japan. Next slide, please. The Dallas-Fort Worth lead export categories. These areas include, as you can indicate there on the slide, I won't read them all to you, but aerospace, as you can imagine, is a major exporter here. The #1 exporter, as a matter of fact, most people would think it would be oil and gas, but aerospace is one of our leading industry exporters, along with semiconductor and electronic components and communication equipment, motor vehicles, etc. Next slide. Well, let's see here. Perfect. Okay. So our mission, as I stated before, our primary goal is to assist companies with exporting their products and services. We want to be a major resource for small to medium-sized companies, and that's primarily who we service, are small to medium-sized companies. We do assist some of the larger companies here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Texas Instruments, as an example, is a major global company, and we will assist companies of that size, but primarily 90%, even 95% base is assisting small to medium-sized companies with exporting their products and services. With more than 44,000 U.S. exporters assisted by the Commercial Service and the International Trade Administration over the past 2 years across all 50 states, all of those exporters are generally ordinary American businesses seeking to compete and win in the global marketplace. And again, the small, medium-sized companies are the companies that we really have an interest in assisting. We don't like to say that we target those companies, but we really do look to assist those companies because generally those are the companies that have the most need. We have a global relationship and expertise in every major industry sector. There's a slide that's coming up that'll talk just a little bit about how we leverage our resources. But if you just think of it from this particular context, if there is a country that has a U.S. embassy and or consulate or both, generally you will find a commercial service representative working in that country to be of assistance to you. And so just about any country that has a consulate or an embassy, you can find a U.S. Commercial Service person working there to be of assistance to you. The next slide has a map. Go back one, Binga, please. This particular slide here gives you an idea of where we're located. We are in roughly 75 countries across the world. And as you can see, again, any embassy or consulate, there you will find, say, Kenneth Haynes working there to be of assistance to you. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, we leverage our resources in a number of ways. One, of course, having those resources on the ground to be of assistance to you. But as a federal government agency, we are uniquely positioned to address the typical barriers that come into play as it relates to exporting. And those are some that are listed there. That includes non-tariff barriers, market access issues, intellectual property rights, unfair trade practices, just to name a few. Next slide, please. So the local trade specialist in country, as well as within your own state, wherever you might be located, and I'm going to assume that we do have some people on this call that are from Texas, so I definitely look forward to receiving your emails later. And for those that are not in Texas, you can definitely feel free to email me also, and I'll be happy to put you in contact with one of my colleagues in whatever state you're located in. But do a lot for you. And for those that have never heard of us, did not know that we exist, here's just a small laundry list of ways that we can be of assistance to you as a small to medium-sized enterprise that is interested in exporting, or if you are already currently exporting. Again, I won't read all of them to you, but just market research, which is a huge component to your success in the international marketplace. Locating partnerships for you in other countries. Global business matchmaking, critical in making sure that you are compliant and not breaking any domestic or international laws. Very critical to your business. Again, I mentioned earlier that we're a federal government agency that is here to help you make money, and that is true. We're also a federal government agency that is here to make sure that you don't do anything wrong and that you don't face any fines or find yourself on any particular denied parties list or entity list that can prevent you from doing business nationally. How do we deliver? This is just an example of one particular case that a company was exporting to Nigeria. They needed some assistance in locating a distributor and also developing a market entry strategy. And so this is one example of how we were able to assist that company through providing market intelligence, export counseling, and then providing feedback to this particular U.S. company. And they were successful in utilizing our Gold Key service as well as our International Company Profile service. Later on, what those services mean and why they might be important to you. Next slide, please. Market research and evaluating potential markets. Again, determining what your HS number is. If you don't know what that number is, that's a number that is utilized to determine what your product is. Every product that is exported has its own unique identification number. This is a process as we are going through customs. It is easy to identify whether there's a laptop in the box as opposed to pens and pencils in a particular box. And so each product is assigned its own HS number. Some of the other research that we can provide is a review of market research reports for countries as well as industry sectors. And what we like to do is have you target 3 to 5 of your most promising markets for further assessment. And that assessment can range from what the duties and tariffs might be for each of those countries, because that can affect your bottom line directly. And so these are things that you definitely want to know before you enter a particular market. Next slide, please. And this is my last slide, which is the business matchmaking to connect you with partners. We specialize in customized market and industry briefings, post meetings, help with travel and interpreter services, as well as appointments with prospective partners. And so your local U.S. Commercial Service Office, we open doors to all of these unique services and resources of a federal government agency. The use of our staff in over 75 countries to arrange meetings for you with potential agents, distributors, and other partners in specific markets is something that we specialize in and that we do daily. And so, in conclusion, I really look forward to being a resource for you, or at a minimum, at least putting you in contact with someone that can be of a greater resource to you as you continue to venture into the global marketplace. And my contact information is listed there on the last slide. Again, feel free to send me an email. I'll be more than happy to chat with you about how we can be of assistance to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Bingo, I can't hear you.
Yes, so thank you. My audio was muted. So I was just saying thank you for that resourceful presentation. A lot of people do not know that there's a government agency that will go out there into the market and find you clients, right? They'll find you a buyer. They will do their due diligence. They will do research for you, and they will connect both of you together. So when you look at this picture, why are people not going into exportation? So it's like a myth. People think it's not doable. I'm not big enough. But here we have Latonya saying that they're actually working with small and medium enterprises. And we heard Gwendolyn, please, you can turn on your microphone, your camera. We cannot do the Q&A now. And we have Gwendolyn talking about how Exim Bank will not just work for you as an exporter, they also protect you even with your relationship with your foreign buyers. So we have the puzzle all put together right here. You have everything you need in the room, everything you need to succeed in your exportation business. We have it right here. So I just want to thank Kenneth one more time for that great presentation. I'd like to thank Latonya and Gwendolyn one more time. So at this very time, we're going to move into a Q&A session. I actually have a couple of questions that I'm going to get into in a little bit of time. We're going to be going into a Q&A. So let me just pull up my slide to show you that we're actually in a Q&A session. So the first question goes to Latonya. It says, does Exim Bank set the interest rate for working capital loans? So do you set the interest for that loan? If anyone is interested in getting loan from Exim Bank?
Yes, that's a good question. The interest rate is set by the lender that the exporter goes to. The loan is not a direct loan from Exim Bank. We provide the guarantee to the lender. So therefore, the lender sets the interest rates.
Okay, so thank you so much for that answer. So the next question is for Gwendolyn. It says, as a foreign buyer, can you, this question is, I need to read this question again. Give me 1 second. Okay. As a foreign buyer in Africa with a client in the US, how can your services as a broker for Exim Bank help me? That's the question. As a foreign buyer in Africa with my client in the US, how can your services as a broker for Exim Bank help me? Do you understand the question, Gwendolyn?
So, can you hear me? Just wanted
Yes.
to make sure. Okay, good. So in this transaction, we support the U.S. exporter to do business with you as the foreign buyer. So depending on the transaction, we can actually help that U.S. company become an exporter to provide you the goods or services that you're looking for. In the case, if you are looking for a transaction where you may need financing, which falls under a different category, then we can possibly do the insurance and the lenders help you to have a financial facility so that you can be able to buy the product. But we always are going to be helping the U.S. company to become an exporter to you to provide those goods or services that you're seeking. I hope that helped answer it.
I truly believe so. If you still have your booth, folks can actually go over to your booth, all of your booth, and reach out to you for further clarity. Now, this question is it's actually one question for Kenneth, and someone was just making a comment as well for Kenneth. So the question says, can small companies export? That's the question for Kenneth. When he says, can small companies export, I believe they're talking about minority, very small company, as in very, very small. And someone said here that looking to see if Kenneth has a counterpart in New York City. We're seeking a speaker for a global chamber program in November. I actually know this individual, very good contact and friend. And so they wanted to know if you have a counterpart they could reach out to for a speaking engagement. But your question is, can small companies export? Kenneth, that's for you. Can you hear me, Kenneth?
Sure. Thank you for that question. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, I have you. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for the question. Yes, of course, as I mentioned in the presentation earlier, we assist the mom and pop companies, 1-2 person, husband and wife, brother and sister, exporter, all the way up to Martins and the Texas Instruments. And so there's no barrier other than the ones that you put in front of your to exporting, especially with the resources that are available to you. So it doesn't, if you have the capacity and you have the knowledge and know-how and the will to export, then the possibility. So it doesn't matter the size of the company. If you want to export, it's available to you. As it relates to a counterpart in, we do have offices, as it was mentioned before, the Export Assistance Centers, or USACs, U.S. Export Assistance Center. We have multiple offices in the New York City area, and I'll be more than happy to start there if you give me an idea of where you're located in.
Thank you, Kenneth. There's a question here for Latonya. It says, as a small business, how do we get started? with your unit of the Exim Bank? Say we just want to get started today. How do we get started? I don't know if you understand that question. He says, how do we get started?
Yes, yes, I understand that question, and thank you for it. We would, we would need to have a conversation, so I can learn more about your business, what you're considering exporting, and where you're considering exporting, and then we can go from there. But one thing I can tell you now, and I don't know if I mentioned it during the presentation, but one of the requirements is that you must have a Dun& Bradstreet number. A lot of small businesses do not have that, and I can provide you the link to get that number. The process is easy and quick. I don't think there's a charge for it to acquire a number. So that is one thing that you must have. And again, just stop by my booth and we can have a more in-depth conversation.
Thank you so much, Latoya. The next question is for Gwendolyn. It says, as a minority business in the US with little knowledge of exportation, how can I build my business to the point of taking advantage of your insurance and funding opportunity with Exim Bank?
Okay.
Did you get the question? You want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The question will actually have a twofold answer. My part would be the insurance part, but in regards to the funding, that's where the other agencies in the Exim system can also assist you in being able to get yourself prepared to become an exporter. And that's where Latanya's division would help you in getting prepared. Then I would help provide the insurance coverage that is needed so that you can protect your transaction and also protect the lender that's going to give capital possibly on your behalf so you can fulfill the order or the service. Am I correct about that, Latanya?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Gwendolyn. So, Kenneth, if you're there, this question is for you. And the question says, how does your Kenneth, can you hear me? Okay, so, yeah.
I can hear you. Can you hear me well?
How does your...
My camera is not working
okay.
for some reason.
The question says, how does your matchmaking services work? Is it free, and how do we begin? Say yes.
Sure. Sure. No problem. So the matchmaking service is not a free service. As a federal government agency, we are not charging U.S. exporters to make a profit. It is actually to charge to make a profit for services provided. The services purpose for the embassy or consulate staff to go out and conduct the searches that are necessary. If you go to our website, which is export.gov, that's www.export.gov, you'll find a list of the services that we provide. If you do a Google search, to save you maybe just a little bit of time, and you can find extensive information in regards to our Gold Key service, which is probably our most popular service as relates to and locating partners and distributors. So again, that's the Gold Key service. Yes. And so if you'll Google that, or if you go to export.gov, you can find more information about our services and how
Thank you so much. And I think this is the last question I have here. This question I think is either for Latoya or for Gwendolyn, it says, does Exim Bank work with a U.S. exporting company that represent American brands in West Africa, like imports Dole canned juice in Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and etc.? So,
Yes, absolutely. If you are exporting Dole canned juice to distributors in those countries, then yes, you are eligible for support from Exim Bank. Now, I do advise you, or either I can do it for you, um, to visit our country limitation schedule to see if we are open in those countries. I know we're open in Senegal. Cote d'Ivoire, I'm pretty certain as well, but I'm not sure about Mali. So, we would need to review the country limitation schedule to see if there are any limitations or prohibitions in those countries.
And then to tie in with Latanya, on the insurance side, what we look is if these countries are eligible for participation, then we will handle on the insurance side to protect and maybe get that accounts receivable or that purchase order finance through the XM's lenders, because we're providing the insurance that's going to protect the transaction. So therefore, you can fulfill the order before getting paid by your foreign buyer, as long as they're eligible in the country limitation schedule, as Latanya brought out.
thank you so much. I think this has been a great session. I think I ran through all the questions. If you have additional question, you may ask. You're rounding up, and if I see your question, I will take it. So otherwise, I'm going to be asking our speakers to give their last word. Also, for everyone to know that when this session ends, we're going to stop the broadcasting. Then you're going to go into the booth so you can go meet with Gwendolyn and Latoya and Kenneth, and all the networking would be on for those that want to engage in that video matchmaking. That would be for 30 minutes. We're running good on time, so we have about 20 minutes head start. So it was supposed to end at 11, but we ended early, which is good. I'm glad we're sticking to time. I appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, our speakers, I'd like you to, give your final word. I'll start with Latoya, please.
Okay, what I just advise companies, no matter your size, no matter what your product is or your service, do not discount or think that you cannot get financial support. There are federal government resources available to help you export, as well as on the state and local level. So there are many, many resources at your disposal to help you or assist you to export successfully. So I encourage you to do so.
Thank you so much for that. What about you, Gwendolyn? Thank you.
So, and in regards to the small businesses, it's important that you look at the guidelines that the country is eligible to be able to, for the support of our XM product, that you are providing a U.S. service or a U.S. made product. This will help you to understand if you're eligible. And it doesn't matter regarding the size of the transaction, because we're here to help small, medium, big business to become successful in the world market so we can compete effectively. And the insurance component comes in to protect the transaction, to protect you as the exporter, and to protect the lender that's putting capital out on your behalf. So remember those things. Don't be shy. Reach out to our departments, because they're being underutilized, and a lot of our small business in the community do not even know they exist. So that's why we're on this conference today, to make sure we are putting the awareness out there and to let you guys know that we're here to help you to become successful in your business.
Thank you so much, Gwendolyn. I think we lost Kenneth's stream. I hope he gets back. So, because we're good on time, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the next 10 minutes to go into the booth so we can go and engage with both Latoya and Gwendolyn and Kenneth. So if you have any question, please proceed to their booth. They will be available in their booth to answer your question. Then by 10:40, we're going to proceed to our matchmaking. So I hope you understand. We're going to be going in. For those that may want to do a follow-up with Gwendolyn and Latoya, please do that in the next 10 minutes, after which the matchmaking will begin. And on the left, for those of you with your laptop, you would see the live icon is going to be showing on which of the session is live. So thank you so much. I just want to thank each and every one of our speakers. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to show up this morning. And using a platform like Open, it can be very technical. And despite all of that, you all made it, you all showed up and it still went very well. We are so grateful to you. Ideally, everyone would settle for Zoom and, that would be great. But we just want our followers, our audience, our clients to get the best of what we offer, and which is to connect them, to provide our linkages between the continent of Africa and the US. And this platform gives us the ability to do that. And an exhibition also allows you to exhibit your product. And so that is why we're here inside Open. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone else, please proceed to the booth, or if you have questions for Latoya or Gwendolyn or Kenneth. And in 10 minutes, the networking will begin. So all you have to do is when you're done in the booth, just go to the networking area and start matchmaking with other folks. But please, when it's 11, I'm going to be making an announcement on the stage. Just look out for the chat message to tell you where we would be at that time for our next session. Thank you so much and have a great event. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.